Hey guys, it's been so long, and I thank all of you for helping me reach 106 subscribers, and we are on the verge of getting 110. Thank you so much. I know it's been a really painful time to be alive, especially nowadays, because things can overload quite easily. But either way, we made it, despite me not posting anything for like 2 months, like straightforward. I'm really sorry, but as you know, society tends to get a little bit cancer-like when it comes to these kind of workload things. But anyways, that's out of the way for now. I mean, I got another thing coming up next week, but you know what? We just have to utilize any time we have at the moment. As Qui-Gon Jinn once said, be always mindful of the living force. And and I'm obviously gonna do that. But nevertheless, that's out of the way. I'm extremely grateful. Right, what are we gonna do today? And of course, when it comes to a celebration of reaching a certain subscriber limit, I would like to make a bit of a backstory. And this backstory is actually not a small one, it's actually full of deep details, and hopefully that will make you guys understand what are the intents behind this channel, what are my intents specifically. And this will hopefully make a more clearer direction and path for you guys to see what are the things to come and what are the things that might come a bit more lately, but it will come eventually. So anyways, a backstory is the best way to celebrate, especially once you get your child to more than 2 digits of subscribers. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy this backstory. There were a lot of reasons why this channel was founded in the first place. Now, of course, you guys are probably gonna think my addiction to 40k is the reason. Well, no, not really, because I only started to learn about 40k at the age of 14. Yeah, at the age of 14, which is saying about 2 to 3 years ago, because contextual basis, and yeah. That's for 40k, but as for the others, like airsoft, lightsabers, where did I get all these ideas? Now, to make it short, like, it goes back to a long time ago when I was a small kid, I already liked lightsabers, and my first lightsaber replica, which I will not be showing a photo of myself holding it, because I look like an absolute crapple in that shirt. Not this shirt, but like a shirt that's even worse than this, like, literally. And my first replica was the Anakin Skywalker lightsaber, which was perfect. And it's one of the templates I took influence from before I chose my current lightsabers. Like, so this one. So basically the real life standard lightsaber template, a more firm and retro grip, no kind of shenanigans like the one Kit Fisto used, Obi-Wan's used. But I mean, Obi-Wan's lightsaber looks good, but if you use it in real life, the real replica in real life, you're gonna be having a very hard time. Given the shower thing tube at the top, there's a very thin barrel where basically you can't really grip onto. It's really hard to, and if you're suffering from heavy attacks, then it's going to be making your life very, very hard, I assure you. Trust me, this is lightsaber advice number 1. Always pick your own lightsaber. I mean, it's good to have a collection of movie lightsabers, but when it comes to practical combat, always pick a lightsaber that you can trust yourself with your heart. Anyways, that's a little bit of a backstory of why I like lightsabers. But why airsoft? Why politics? There's always a bigger picture to all of these. Now I'm gonna start off with politics, as you guys are probably more interested to know about this. And you guys are gonna probably think I'm trying to give everyone a bedtime story. Well, this is not gonna be a bedtime story once you heard all the shit language I'm about to use, which is gonna be a little bit of a bummer in that case. But anyway, let's start with the political origin. Why for a brief time that that I post politics videos, and why do I intend to post them more in the future once I've started to slowly phase in all of the lightsaber contents. And by the time once I start to run a little bit out of ideas for lightsabers, I can start putting the politics content. But why not now, and why later? There's always a structural idea to all that. Now this has to go back to about approximately 3 years ago, because time is quite deluding sometimes. Where basically I was a little bit of a shithole that barely knew anything. So that was about 2018 or 2019. You could say that's the era, not the era of renewing. Like the word, Renaissance. The Renaissance was the age of renewing. But for me, 2019 was the age of renewing. For you guys, a lot of you, 2020 was the age of renewing for most of you guys. Since COVID changed everything, lifestyle, work habits, school habits, wherever you guys, life was absolute shenanigans during COVID for everyone. Yeah, but for me, my age of renewing kind of started 1 year earlier. Now you guys are thinking, you know what? That's good for personality development. Well, yes, that's definitely true. It is good, but when that good thing comes in, a lot of much more bad things come in as well. Now, I won't go into too much detail, as I don't want to make anyone cry, as I'm kind, and I don't want to make any of you upset because of hearing these. Now, I don't know the average age, age average for any of my subscribers, but I hope that I will try to reduce the amount of the amount of sadness in them, so I wouldn't be making this a Romeo and Juliet story, literally, because that would be extremely stupid. Imagine how terrifying that'd be, right? Right? Anywho, so this started in 2019, as I said, age of renewing, and lots of things are changing, and for me, I basically start tapping into the skin of YouTube, where basically I didn't touch YouTube video making directly. I basically started off with iMovie, and I just made quite some weird things. They first look like they're just image transit. That's all. I mean, now like current state, I still do that a bit, but only for about art videos. So yeah. That was the first phase, and I started doing things, and mostly those are politics, because that's when the East Side Massacre started. And if you guys know what the East Side Massacre means, I could do a whole video about it. But in short terms, it was a time when the Eastern traders purged the loyalist elements within their territory, and basically what's happened was a bit of a civil war, and basically the surviving elements either pulled back and fled to the west side, and that's about what happened. Now there's a law, currently it's still happening, but I won't go into too much to that for now, but I will be making a full video about the East Side Massacre, as I've referenced it a little bit in my political nominee video, which is quite old, but still, the analysis seems to be pretty accurate overall. But anyway, so that happened. The East Side Massacre happened, and basically a great time to do political videos until it wasn't. Until 2020, where COVID struck along, and that's where the beginning of the end and the end of the beginning doesn't really make sense, right? So anyways, that happened, and I got my godly powers. By godly powers, it means my ability to actually think things through, like a literal godlike entity, and literally kind of the first Mark 1 phase of the current me right now. But the flaw behind that was I had to basically trade souls, basically open the door for the whole weird shenanigans happen. So basically, I ripped out my old soul and I stuffed in my new soul into my chest, like literally, in a dream. And then the next day, ever since that day happened, which I cannot remember, as it's part of the process where you forget when it actually happened. Basically, things start to do differently. I do things differently. I think things differently. And that's a very slow process, as that's the trade-off of the new powers that I got. And yes, you guys are probably gonna think I'm some weird dude from the Ecclesiarchy, and I'm absolutely not, because what if I told you that the Ecclesiarchy is under the control of the Dark Lord of the... Okay, I'm not gonna mention that goddamn joke. I watched that phase about 3 times in the past week. It was hilarious, but... Yeah, not very relevant. But anyways, yeah. So I started to develop a lot of things, such as the beginning of airsoft. I also had a bit of research about further lightsaber designs and like the crystals that make them. And then I was like, you know what? That's actually quite a good thing. But here's a little bit of realistic issues with the East Side, and there's nothing to do with politics. This is just really human thinking in the East Side. Like, I'm not trying to be discriminate. I'm just mentioning that the real flaws. So those in the West don't have to make the same mistakes. This is for the good. Everyone's good. Everyone can share with it, and yeah. So basically, there's this mindset that basically everything is based on school, where basically people get brain cancer like in less than 5 years, and literally that's kind of happening right even at this moment. And I'm extremely grateful that I got pulled out there before the time of my prime. And if you know the term of the time of prime of a human's prime, it's usually ranged about, like, if you're making a broad basis, is 15 to 25. That's the prime that I would mention. That depends on what your standards are. But if you're talking about the strict time duration of a human's prime, that'd be about 16 to 20. But for me, it's 16 to 25, and I'm really grateful that I wasn't that I've left there already, because like, obviously there's a lot of ideological differences between me and the whole society. And yeah, things were really, really nasty. And basically there was this turbulence that I had with nearly everyone apart from the one. And yeah, I will go a little bit to the one. And yeah, there were a lot of issues on the way, but life's always with issues. So anyways, that got resolved, so good job. And basically after that, I basically flew here into the middle of nowhere. Just kidding. I just flew with perhaps a million others by now, immigrate to the UK, and it was pretty interesting. Where basically I started to learn how to YouTube. But learning how to YouTube means actually properly making videos, not just staring down at my iPad like a literal idiot. Like, no. Yeah, but YouTubing is very fun, and I tend to make more once I may or may not go to university. And yeah, it's kind of in a bit of a turbulence right now. So anyways, and I would also like to take this moment in my backstory to praise a greater YouTuber that I see as my mentor. And as probably one of you mentioned him before, that is Alex, or I'm just gonna refer as Master Alex, the master, as he used to go by the title Alex Workshop, but he's now called by Alex, which I absolutely admire him. And he's like a few years older than me, judging by what he's basically mentioned recently in his videos. So basically, he's a great inspiration for me, and yeah, and basically a lot of things that I learned about airsoft is coming from him. As you can see, there are a few identical products that I use that are similar to his, such as the M4, the blue one. And yeah, his technique is basically the template of what I basically inspired from. And I would like to take this moment to thank him really much, and I wish him good health and a very happy life onwards. And yeah, you're my best mentor, even though we haven't contacted each other directly. I still see you as my mentor. Yeah. And of course, this video will be split into 2 parts because of a goddamn literal time limit for each video that I post, which I hope I can get rid of once I can reach 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. Stay tuned for part 2, which is gonna happen right after the minute I post part 1. Goodness me.